Hey, everybody, or whoever ends up watching this. Um, I think I want to start a comic book series, and the point of it is going to be implementing studies and things I want to learn and putting that into a comic book. It's going to be a short comic book, and I think I want to do this blast from the past type of thing, and it's going to be about these two characters. So. If you look at my earlier videos, I actually kind of took this from a sketchbook. This is old drawing, and I just pretty much painted over it. This is before I learned a lot of things, but I also want to like really kind of mess with this and kind of combine some ideas story-wise that are just like kind of loose change in my pocket of uh, creativity. And I want to put it in the universe of um, my current comic book series, The God Project, and Old Man, my comic book series. I actually have comic books out on is in the same universe that I'm doing, and what it is it's like after Revelations, hell's kind of flooded the earth, and um, people are trying to fight back the best they can. So what they did is splice the DNA from the demons into soldiers. So what ends up happening is that the more of this serum, or the more that they kind of like infuse their bloodstream with this, it's like pretty much a poison, but like let's say like steroids, right? The more they take these steroids, they either become the monsters themselves that just like become demons, or they put a time like steroids, they put a timeline on their life and like they just slowly lose it and become unstable. So it's as soon as you do it, it's like that's it. Like there's no going back, right? So these characters actually were drawn, I think, before I ever came up with the Old Man comic book. The Old Man comic book was a derivative of doing what I'm doing now. It's like, hey, I want to work on this, and then from there, I let my ego get the best of me, and I was like, well, I want to make it good. But this comic book, I am going to try my best to keep it from becoming a thing. That sounds bad, but keep it from becoming how do I say it, like a priority, right? I want it to be fun. I want to work on things that uh, that I want to implement in the comic books. I want to let's write this out, right? Because I have trouble. What should we use? I have trouble like keeping my. I have creative. Uh, is it OCD? Ace- I don't know what it's called, but you know, use first because target files. All right. Creative OCD, creative ADD. I don't know. I think it's creative ADD. So, comic project. All right. So mainly, what I want to do is have cool characters. My handwriting sucks, so cool scenes. And this is like that is a C, that is an E, and that this is like kind of the same thing right here. These two, but background, like cool backgrounds. Um, this is a little bit narrow down, but I want a turret gun. Gun on the arm. So you guys see where I'm getting at, right? With this comic book is then I want this is how I make comic books, right? So like the first scene when I was thinking about doing this is these demons are kind of crazy. So a lot of people watch The Boys or oh, what else is he's done Preacher, Garth Ennis uh did this comic book called Crossed, and it's like a one up of a zombie comic book, right? So I imagine he was sitting there thinking like, how can you make something scarier than zombies? And these zombies are like just they act out the worst thing that they think of, right? That's like their disease. And then they get like a cross on their face, whatever, right? And my demons, I kind of wanted to model off that. I wanted what is going on here? I wanted to I wanted them to make like not be to that extent. I don't want to copy Garth Ennis, but I want them to be because they're essentially just crazy and just I want to say words that I don't even know are real words. That's just the way I work. Nonsensical. That's what I want to say. I don't know if that's a word, but they're just like they just spew nonsense. They're just insane, like Tourette's, right? Not turret gun on the arm, but Tourette's. And they got all kinds of just weird stuff where they just do what they do. And one of the scene, the first scene that popped in my head was this demon just attacking one of the characters, just like full on, like I've already done this kind of look, but and instead of saying Geronimo, I wanted to say Sacagawea. That's how my mind works. It's just stupid, stupid stuff that pops in my head. What am I doing? I am not ready for this video, so let me work through this. Thank you for the patience dealing with me. I don't know if we'll have anything decent. Um, this is going to be kind of a series that I'm going to do, and I'm gonna force myself through it, start to end. So we're not gonna, we might do like some short drawing videos like I've been doing, like the goblin ones. But I think this is gonna take priority, and we're gonna make a 5 to 8 page to 12 page short digital comic, and we'll see where it goes from there. Maybe I could do something with it eventually, but it is gonna exist within the universe that I already have created with the Old Man and God Project, and those are my how do you say it? Trademark uh, name named comics, right? Like those are mine, and I don't know if this box is anymore, but I'm doing like almost like a vlog essentially. So I'm just bouncing ideas off the wall. I don't have friends that like hearing this stuff, so kind of like my guinea pigs. Saving this stuff for myself later to rewatch because I've been learning a lot from myself, just drawing and rewatching my videos because I think I'm my biggest fan, right? And learning from what I've done, and I really like watching the process I go through. And I think I've said that a few things, but that's what this whole video series is going to be. Is I was going to plan it for like a much bigger series and like a more serious project, but I think we need a crash course anyways, right? So I feel like this is the perfect place to kind of come up with the stuff. And if it's successful, then it'll help me with my next series when I actually like take one seriously. I'm saying that a lot, but I don't know. I got this comic page here anymore, but this is what I do at bare minimal and come up with a comic book. So stay instead of carrying like a notebook with us, we got just this video series, this vlog, and some stuff that you want to do, right? Another one. So five is uh digital. I'm gonna put DP. It's not what you think. Digital painting, um, metal. I was just talking with my friend, and I was just telling him like how much I actually really love uh metal. Like when other artists paint metal, it's like my like I don't know, I gush over it. And so that's one thing I really want to do better. And I'll show you like right here. Like this is my metal from like years and years ago, right? Like this sucks. But if I could, and I might do it at some point. We're gonna have to eventually do these characters anyways, but we're gonna make them make more sense. Like none of this weird wonky stuff. We're gonna do some studies. Like I like the silhouette of this. I like the fold. I think this thing goes like that. And I like the flag. This is American flag right here. I always wanted to put a little bit of patriotism in my art because I think other than the United States dealing with this stuff, I think I only have like one comic book uh, where it's a character from Australia, and that's its own thing that I want to do eventually. Is have like one outside the U.S. type of story where it's like, okay, here's this country dealing with this. So, so we got metal. We're gonna do a lot of like different types of metals and maybe some blades, mostly guns, because we got the turret on the arm, right? This is what you come for, right here. That's our, that's the money maker. Is this one? I just want like his arm to be like, and I got the scene in my head. This is the other scene I got. I just want like barrels and barrels of a turret gun. I'll figure it out somehow. Some maybe some ammo hanging down, and then you got his little head because he's gonna be that the armor is gonna be that big. Think like Warhammer, right? So I'm probably gonna do a lot of Warhammer research, yeah, because I like their armor, I like their armor setup. But it's gonna kind of be reminiscent of that. And I think even just this comic book in general, I always liked mech stuff, but I wanted initially why I started this whole thing is because I wanted cool mech battles with like monsters, like kind of like Pacific Rim, but not like where it's these gargantuan monsters. I wanted these just regular size, like kind of mech suit battles and monsters and demons, and that was part of the driving force, right? So I think with Wolf, I have a little bit of it, but I'm still like I can always do better, and I want to do better. So we'll have some cool, really cool battles. Um, I think in this one and some action scenes. Um, another another way that I do comic book stuff, and none of this is supposed to be like in order or make sense. This is just notes, though. Is I think we're due city ruins in this comic book. I definitely want to do some industrial battle scenes. So that is one of the things. I don't know if it's a what do you call it? A spoiler for Old Man, but I'm having uh some cityscapes in the issue 4 of Old Man, so it's something I need to work on anyways. And I think I want to use this comic as an excuse to kind of like brush up on it and make it to where when I get to it, it's going to be better for it. All right, so we got cool characters, which I think these guys will be our main characters. I feel like his name, this one is going to be Judd or Jed. I don't know. I should do a. If I had more people interactive, I'd probably do a poll, but I don't, so I probably have to come up with it on the spot. So Judd or Jed, and this is going to be Alan. Maybe no. Uh, Almost said Banksy. Uh, Ron, right? We'll do this as Ron, and this is Jarrett, Judd, or Jed. I don't know. My buddy would probably give me uh, some how do you say it when they like not favoritism. I need some caffeine, is what it is. Some confidence. No, not confidence. What am I trying to say? Well, like, oh yes, that's a good idea, or you know what I mean? Support, right? Support. There we go. So I was making it more complicated than it had to be. So let's write that down before I forget. So we got Ron. I think that's a pretty good one, right? So we don't need to come up with anything else. And then Jarrett, two T's? I don't know. We'll see. Judd. I think Judd's pretty cool, but I have the knack of going with my first. I think that's the first thing I came up with. And I always feel like my first thing I come up is what I usually go with, but Ron, Jarrett, Judd. Jed was the other one. So I don't know. Someone wants to help me out and say, hey, yeah, you should do a poll and we'll see, then maybe I'll do that. And maybe that'll be like one of the videos, some notes. That'd be one of the videos where like we draw this guy, the J Man, until we come up with a name. And I'll do like a poll for a name. This is mainly what this whole thing is, notes. All right, cool characters, cool scenes, cool backgrounds. Turret gun on arm. Digital painting metals. Let's put an S in there. City ruins and name. Boom. And then demon, monsters, whatever you want to call them. I hate putting a name on it, right? It's like zombie movies. Like, who wants to call zombies zombies? And it, like, if I try to be as realistic as possible. So, say in like the real world, something happens, you're not going to be like, that's a zombie, right? Or maybe you will. I don't know. Maybe it sounds crazier in my head than it would in real life. Like in real life, you might see somebody that is infected or whatever, and you go back, oh no, not not Jesse. Jesse's my buddy, but or is he? But um, but I think it makes it more personal, right? But the demons, monsters, uh, designs. So what I've been going with lately, and I'm gonna be honest is the best policy. I'm stupid like this, so forgive me. But I've already lost my train of thought. My demon designs so far have kind of just been whatever I've been feeling in the moment. Like in Old Man issue 4, I have one 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 demon. Might have to cut this out because I want to show people things I've been working on. Yeah, I don't think I can actually because it's connected to my comic book and yeah. But I have one demon that I've been designing or I designed back in like 2019 since I've been working on Old Man issue 4. And that and well, spoiler alert, there's the demon version of Wolf. I've designed those um specifically, right? So but otherwise I've been kind of just and the bishop kinda, if you remember, I'm speaking like people have already read my comic book. But the bishop I kind of designed because I kind of knew what I wanted. I really like this. I'm gonna name drop some stuff, which I always do, right? I like this. Was it Blame or is Biomega by this is a manga or I don't know what they going with. It's the Japanese little books. Um, it's called Biomega, and I really liked uh, their designs for like some of their dudes. I don't know what they're called, but they had like these plain faces, kind of like the Slipknot mask from like the All Hope Is Gone or whatever album. And it's just like this plain face, and then like they'd have like all this nasty kind of uh, just gross stuff to them. And that's another thing I'm gonna show you guys that I do because this is all part of uh, working on a comic book. But I'll actually go through my collection and so though hold on, I'm doing like four things at once at this part. So I'll go through my collection of comic books, my collective knowledge of artists that I kind of keep to myself. I name drop a lot, so it's not keep to myself, but like in the back of my head, right? I have my favorite artists that like I'm like I want this comic book to look like this thing they did, and then you know what I mean, and that's just the way I think about it. And all like for the comic books, for example, like I'm doing here, I'm thinking about Biomega or Blame. I think it was Biomega and the demons that look like that or they're monsters and then how I wanted my monster. So if you remember the bishop, I wanted that bishop to look like uh kind of like mine's more skin whereas theirs was like a mask, but it's not, there's no harm in having some inspiration, right? And then so that's something I do with comic books is I'll go through I could probably move this over. So known mediums and what is all this? Get the fuck out of here. God damn. Photoshop is fucking retarded. Sorry, I'm cussing. But I don't want this. What the fuck is this? Leave me alone. I don't know. I don't know. This is Photoshop nowadays. It's just always something. So this thing's gonna bother me now so bad. I can't even get rid of this, to be honest. I hate Photoshop sometimes. I really do. Like, this is stupid. I don't know. All right, back to the notes. like, like losing my mind from this. But I'll go through what I know and like what I've looked at, like even just pictures of art. Like that's how the cool scenes and background come to play. Because I saw this painting the other day, and it was like this dark area, and then it had like just this cool gray, and this is light, and then this was all shadows and dark. But it just unlocked something as I was looking at it, and I was like, I could do that, you know? And it had just this one character like this, kind of half in the dark, half in the light. But it's just the way they did it that I was like, oh, that's how you do that, you know? Like I kind of saw how they did it and was like, I can do that, you know? It gave me ideas for like stuff I want to do. And that's part of it. Is it's just utilizing what you know and getting ideas from outside sources to create your own thing. So where are we at? So we got all these notes. Um, What else did I want to add to these notes? So we got cool characters, cool scenes, cool backgrounds, turret, on gun on arm, digital painting metals, city ruins. This includes city ruins bites. That's pretty much what I want to add to that. And the names, we might do a poll. Uh, demon monster designs. We don't need that. That was just a talking point. That's one thing. I don't think we're gonna do it today because I want to kind of work on the characters for what we're talking about, and we'll start there actually. So, uh, making a comic book, you're gonna want. Hey, it disappeared. You're gonna want to get familiar with your characters, right? So, what we're gonna do, and there's a better way of doing this, but we're gonna get used to drawing these characters. So, we'll take um, we'll take Jarrett Jed, and we'll do him first. So it doesn't have to be spot on, but we're going to do almost a side profile, and we're just going to draw him at least once just to get it going. We'll see how I made his eyes. He's kind of got like Woody Harrelson features, so we're going to give him some almost cow eyes. This is probably going to look a lot more angular than he's actually going to be. He's got a rounded nose. Yeah, he's got kind of a big nose. And then let's see his cheekbones. Oop, it's kind of sharp, but then long cheekbones. So another thing, uh, we'll do that too, is what I like to do when I'm writing a comic book is once I make the characters, I'll kind of like look around at like real-time actors, and I'm like, who, if this was a movie, who would play this part, right? And I think I've told my friend that before. I was like, if this was an actual movie, who would play this character? And that helps you sometimes too because you'll actually start to have reference. So if you're like, hey, this is gonna be like Marlon Brando, like off the top of my head, I'm like, Marlon Brando for this guy, right? But you're like, what does he look like when he's like looking at a certain angle, and then you can go look up some of his work, and then be, oh yeah, this was his nose was this way, and you could see his nostrils from this angle, whatever, right? He's got he's got like this, uh, he's got a very defined, I'm gonna give him like uh, not thick lips, but you can definitely see him. He's kind of, so as we're drawing him, we got to start thinking of like mannerisms, like what kind of person is he? Sometimes when you do that too, it it writes scenes for you. So once you know how a character is going to respond to certain things, once you start formulating the story, like this is going to happen because this happens. Once you understand your character, scenes are going to actually start to pop up, and you're like, oh, because this happened, this he would actually do this. He's going to respond in this way. So I'm kind of like looking at and so for me, seeing him like his tongue out is kind of like, oh, he's kind of, I don't want to say goofy, but or wild. But you know who he actually reminds me of the most, and it's going to seem odd. This Lex Luthor. For some reason, as I'm drawing him, I feel like he's got I don't know if that's going to be a scar, but for like the Superman animated series, I feel like he's like kind of Lex Luthor-ish. Then he's what do you call those? Cheeks, but those are they run up to the top of his there. I don't know if his we're gonna mess with his helmet a lot. We're actually gonna do that too. We're gonna give him his. I don't know if I was making this a black guy or that's what I've been thinking lately. Is I'm like the hardest part about him is going to be all his scars because I like to keep things uh, the same. That's why a lot of this stuff I do, I'll I take pride in like trying to draw things difficult because I'm like that's what I want in the comic book. Like he has to be difficult. He has to have a lot of details, and then when I draw it, he's got to still have all that stuff. You can't just, oh, it's hard to draw, so I'm gonna take away this scar. Like no, that's part. So I feel like that's the stuff I liked as a kid. That's why like I like Spawn and characters of that ilk. It's because they were difficult. They weren't just easy. You know, you had to you had to have some discipline. Uh, and I thought that made them cool. It's almost got like an anarchy. A sign is that's might have been what I was thinking too. Like I like to throw in some uh yeah, I think that's what I did. I didn't want to just he's almost like Captain America. I think I put like I'm starting to time warp here and I don't know when I drew this a long time ago. You can even see in the old videos, but probably that's what happened is as I was drawing it, I was like, you know what, I'll like put an A right here and because he's sticking his tongue out, it's almost like anarchy, and that's what kind of guy he is. He's got a scar right here. They're different scars from the ones I usually make too, so it's pretty cool. I don't know if I'll keep this scar to be honest. That one's all stitched up. We'll see. Uh, then we got these claw marks right here. Pretty much. So it's got a little small in here, and he's just boom, boom, boom. So then you just go in and you can do values and you kind of determine his age. So at a certain point, we'll work on really defining him as a character, and at a certain point too, like his name, uh, he'll pretty much tell us who he is. You know what I mean? That doesn't sound cringy, right? Like he'll pretty much create himself as we go because I feel like characters do that. Like they come to life and then they tell you who they are just from their design and like all this stuff is just armor, which we're not going to worry about yet. Mainly wanted to get the face. We're going to have like a flat face. And that's what I'll do a little bit. It's a new thing I've been doing because usually I just go at it. I don't care about um I'll have some scars back here or whatever. Maybe some like he was burned here. I don't know. But it's got that. It's probably come down more. That's something I've been doing recently. Like I was saying, is I used to just go at it. Like I had my basic design, which I probably hurt myself on a lot of stuff because if I would have just planned it out more, maybe things would look cooler and whatever. But that's why we're going with this too, is because I actually like the design of these drawings, even though they're really old and this stuff's kind of wonky and elementary, my dear Watsons. But I like some of the elements. Like I was saying, I like the silhouette of this. I like the chamber look of this. Like it's like a shutting uh, garage door. Like, I think that will come down, and maybe that's his characteristic. Is that, and that's why he doesn't have scars like him. Is because he actually uses his helmet, right? And then, so his face is still, even though I want him to be more like a Daryl from The Walking Dead. I want him to actually kind of be smart about his armor and maybe will keep his armor a little bit cleaner than his. But that's what I'm saying about the character designs is because he doesn't wear his armor, he'll have all these scars and that builds their character. Like I was saying, how they tell you who they are, things will just start to come out and be like, okay, well, this is. Does that make sense? You know what I mean? I'm, I'm not the best at talking, so I feel like I've gotten better from my first video, but it's a work in progress for sure. But I feel like that's like I was saying, that's part of the process. Learning, like letting the characters develop themselves. It might be a lazy way of saying it too, you know. It almost looks like RoboCop a little bit. Maybe I'll make I don't know. It's up for grabs. So when I was talking about using actors, like real life actors, as kind of inspiration to help you out with the character, just his armor being like that, like just around his face and stuff, kind of gives me RoboCop vibes, even though he's stoic and whatever, you know. But yeah, I'll do this for the character. Draw him a couple times. We'll probably draw him a couple more times as we make more videos about making comic books. But we'll get familiar is the whole point. Get familiar with your character so that usually by your computer, so you have like a wall. Here's your computer, here's your chair, and then here's me saying hi, hi. I have like a little face sheet. And then you got my dog over here, and he's like, woof. He's the best animal. He just sits there all the time. And you got all this reference stuff, so got his face going that way, his face going that way, top down, up down, whatever. And that way you can look at references and be like, okay, this is what he looks here, so you don't have to think about it too much, right? And that can be good to have. Or if you're laser focused, you can just draw to lock it, really comfortable with it. Don't work on anything else like I do, my creative ADD. Just hone in, work on just this, and that way you don't have to keep using reference photos. And let's get to the next one. So we're going to draw Ron now. Ron, we're going to draw him uh, pretty much with and without his helmet. So you'll see what I mean. We got that. Let's look at him one more time. Switch to brush pen. Switch it to black. All right, so I kind of want, for this one, I kind of want to really, really kind of understand his helmet, right? So let's say it's like that. Then you got like his shoulders. This thing comes up. So say it's like that. And just to kind of show you what I'm really thinking about, like his head's right here, nose, you know what I mean? And then let's look at it again. I do like the turning thing here, so we'll put that in there. And then that comes up like that. That still comes over, so then he's got some. We'll do three. One, two, three. I don't know if we're gonna go all the way back. So the point of this design, from what I remember, and not because this is like a character I'm gonna like use all the time, but it was the armor that I was thinking about. So in my God Project comic book, one of the story points is this character that actually creates the armor, and the reason he does it, you'll see what I mean, is he wants everything to be useful. Like there's got to be a reason this armor looks like it does with the spikes. Is because he wants you to use that as a weapon. Like he wants you to headbutt somebody, and that's why I know the spikes are on there. Otherwise, like spikes are kind of dumb, you know. All right, so that actually comes down like that. That's gonna go over his temple. So actually goes like that, and then so why I'm doing that is because this is going to be right here. This is going to be almost like you remember in Thor how the thing has the panels of metal. That's what that is, uh, essentially that I'm thinking about. That's what I want to do with this at least this drawing. Is kind of really understand that. So let's go forward facing. Uh, it's gonna. I feel like it's gonna come down like that. Here's up here. His temples are right here, so we're gonna have the things right here. Come down right there. Feel like right there, right? And then so this one was cool because we had to understand the armor a little bit better than the last dude, right? We had to understand it better than Jared Judged. That's gonna be his name, the whole thing. Then we'll have whatever, you know. I feel like let's go over this. His identity, what makes him unique is his helmet, right? The way it's set up. Where I feel like his identity, not only because I really like this flag here, I feel like is this rib cage kind of like probably what I was thinking about was Dead Space. So it's I'm gonna say Oscar Isaac, but I know it's his name is something like that, like Isaac or something like that in Dead Space. I think I was really liking that design of like the chambers of panels in their armor. And I think I was using uh something like that. I think here I could be wrong. I don't have the stuff in front of me, so all right, so we got his armor, his helmet. Let's do a completely different one for his face. So back to brush. Look at him one more time. So bring up this one. Okay, so let's do a forward-facing one on here. Sorry if this is tedious. I really want to understand why I'm doing this. This is coming up like that. I might mess around with that look because I don't know if I like the angle of that. It's kind of goofy. That comes down like that. Like a fat jaw. Yeah, we're gonna have to do that a lot probably. You don't want things to be like uneven. I always, I'm always self-conscious about my breathing on here. I feel like I'm a mouth breather. Well, it's usually because it's like weird. Is you ever like lay down to go to sleep and then all of a sudden you can't breathe? Like it's like your nose is clogged and it's like that when I do this stuff. Like all of a sudden my nose is clogged and I'm like, why am I breathing like this? I hate it. We got that. I'm just gonna put his shoulders up. We're gonna go through all this and better understand it as part of the series eventually. today, which is working on getting familiar with their faces. So it's gonna go like that. So I feel like with him, we're gonna do is do like his like he's like looks angrier. He's more stern than Jared Judge. He's got a beard too, so I don't like that at all. Messed that up bad. That was way too big of a face. Let's do this. Create a new layer. What we're gonna do is draw that face and then place it into the mask. So put in all the shadows first. It's not gonna be as dopey as Jared Judge, and then have his beard. It's gonna come down kind of a little bit, hang out of here, but I should probably erase that because it's on a different layer. Okay, so that was weird. I've never drawn like that. I just did. I didn't know how I was gonna look, but kind of pulled it off. Not that side, but the other side we did. All right, so he's got like a fat nose too, and he's got kind of a. So what I'm thinking about him is he kind of looks like the guy from Vikings, the brother Rolo. That's probably who I'm gonna use as reference. That looks goofy. Yeah, we're gonna have to come up with something for that. But that's why we're doing this. He's got hair that like hangs down. So, yeah, we're gonna have to come up with. Well, you know what? Actually, he has a visor. I forgot that part completely. So no, we're good. I was thinking like, oh, that looks terrible. All right, so I feel like that's not that bad. It's 8:32 p.m. here my time, so I'm yawning. Yeah, that one's pretty easy. Actually, I thought that was going to be a lot harder than it turned out to be. A little confused than I thought it was going to be, but it's pretty good. I think we got some cool design elements we can add in there, really refine it, and might be the star of the show by the time we're done with it. I like how it looks. We'll figure that out. So, yes, those little metal things that activate and close. So let's actually look at that. So his armor actually comes up to pretty much the bottom of his mouth. So that's another thing we could do. Bottom of his mouth, it's right here. So we can actually just, that's where it's going to be at. And some kind of shoulder pads, make his silhouette look nice. We might really refine this so it looks better. Make a sign point, comes up like that. And I feel like that gives a lot of room for like really cool scenes too. And that's part of like I was saying where the character kind of they write themselves or do whatever, create the scenes, or give you, create the scene. You know what I mean? They give you the material to like, make a really good story. And one of my favorite writers um, is Tom Robbins. Back when I wanted to be a novelist, surprise, at one point I wanted to be a novelist, and I had actually given up. I didn't given up art, but I focused on telling stories, and that's why I feel like one of my strengths are is writing stories. But Tom Robbins had this book, and where it's giving advice to people that wanted to become novelists or storytellers to simplify that. But the advice was writing a story is like pushing a boat or like a canoe. I think he says canoe into the river and then letting it go, right, and steering it. So it's gonna go on its path on its own. But then when you're steering it, you have the option to take it where you want it, right? And you may not know where you're going, you know, or you actually may know where you're going, but you have. I'm on a tangent at the moment. He didn't say all this, but I'm kind of like telling you what it means. You have the option to take the story to the finish, or over here, or over there, or past everything and over here, right? And that's what it's all about. That's why you write these stories. Part of it is entertaining other people, right? Some people do it for money, whatever. Uh, some people do it because I don't know, like that's their thing. That's all they got, like me. This is all I got, even though it's not working out. But I also enjoy not only telling stories to people, but I like letting the stuff go and seeing where it goes, right? And it might do whatever, and then it's as much of a story to me as it is to the people. Because right now, I don't know how the story is going to end, but I want to find out. That's part of it, and that's the joy of it, I think, right? That's what like I've been getting out of even just drawing this character is figuring out what they actually look like, and why they look like this. And I mean that's just the joy of creative storytelling. So where are we at? We're 6 layers deep, people. I don't know how long this video is, but I might have to cut it here pretty soon. So uh, I do want to do a decent drawing at least. So let's do that. Um, I feel like this has been like mostly like a messing around and using this for a notepad, but let me give the people what they want. So since we got some of our characters drawn, let's come up with maybe a monster, right? So, you know what I've been liking a lot lately? There's a guy that I've been following on Instagram. I don't know his real name, but he goes by Dan Peacock or Daniel Peacock. And I really like his designs for creatures because it's usually like a humanoid, but then they're weird. Like they'll have their face, and their eyes will be whatever, and and then all of a sudden they have like this jaw that's like all the way out here, and I love that stuff. Um, so and then you gotta like deal with it, right? Like I don't know what's going on. I don't like it, but it looks cool. But I actually really like that. So that's what we're gonna do with the demon is we're gonna make something like that. So let's make our little humanoid. And I drew out too many bald people because I'm trying to bring awareness to the hairless issue. You got to do your part and donate to uh, my Cash App so that I may one day grow hair. But no, I'm not going to share that dread with my creatures though. So we're going to get this one hair. I usually don't give them pupils because it looks goofy. It looks like they know what's going on when they have pupils, but we're gonna do something with that. Maybe this one has like we're saying with the burn stuff. We've been drawing a lot of fat noses, so we're gonna get this guy a skinny nose. Sorry, buddy. I don't know if that's a bad thing or. And then I'm gonna cut his face right here, give him his cheekbones. We're gonna flip it to make sure we're on the right track. Oh no, what happened there? Okay, his face up here. I'm gonna, it's gonna be all like burns and like growth, right? I'm gonna give him some ears. His lip is right here. We're gonna give him some wonky lips. But here's where we're gonna come up with something, right? So we're keeping this loose until we get there though. Oh, my neck is starting to cramp. I've just recently taken up drawing more often like this than I have in quite a while. So there's gonna be some growing pains, crinks in the neck, part of it. You remember going to, I'm 39 years old, so um, but I'm cultured in the way things used to be, right? Uh, used to go to Walmart to get your first. It's like Walmart used to be E3, right? To put that in perspective, is E3 still around even? But Walmart was where you learned about video games because in their media section they had it was like the PlayStation, right? It was just PlayStation to be honest, or like a Dreamcast, and they had it. So you're a little jit here, and you're like at that little game, and it's connected to the wall, and the screen would be all the way up here, and so you had to like stand there and like looking straight up at the screen, playing on the thing that's like stuck to the wall. You can't like move it around or sit down. I guess you could. I don't know if you could sit down because the thing was stuck to the wall, but you had to look straight up, and by the end of it, you're like, oh my God, like you couldn't like look anywhere else. And that's how my neck feels right now. I had some PTSD for a second, the way things used to be. You guys had, I don't know who watches these things, but kids these days don't know how good they got it. Stuff used to hurt. So I'm getting at is it used to be painful to do things. All right, so I'm already messing up here because I want to do something with that jaw. let's, I have big aspirations. We're gonna make that right here, enter, and we're gonna make his gums come all the way down there, right? And one of the things I like too is making gross like small teeth instead of like these fangs, you know? Like it's just I feel like the small nubby teeth is scarier. Think about it, you know? Like what's scarier? This is one of my tried and true methods. But what's scarier than between the two? Like a guy running at you with like a leather outfit, you know, like chains and whatever, like just on him, and buckles and or like a naked guy, you know. Sometimes like the simple stuff is more terrifying. Sorry, I'm not. It's not that I'm rusty, but it's like sometimes like my movements aren't quite there. So then that comes down, and he's gonna have like this weird angle to him. That's gonna go here. So the ligaments of his jaw. And then we start to see his other teeth. And so part of the fun is figuring out how those mechanized soldiers like Ron and Jared Jed, um, how it looks fighting this guy, right? And like a couple other people that not exactly look like him, but just like along the lines of just like of this, right? And so we also want to like see some, you know what would be nasty? I just saw this today. Um, like that. Yeah, like that. Is if whenever we go to do this comic book, uh, there's these things called like tonsil rocks, and I think I'm going to draw some of those. You might not know what I'm talking about, but they're like these little nasty like stones in the back of people's throats, like and they're just nasty. So I'm gonna have some of those, like when this thing like lunges at somebody and you can see inside his mouth, and that's what it's gonna look like. So, and then maybe it's like maybe shoulders are all the way up here, his collarbones all the way up here, and then his like he's almost like that's his nose. He's almost like this, right? There's just his arm. So if I had more room, that's what I'm thinking about with this. And we'll give him clothes. I draw too many naked things, and people are starting to wonder about me. So we'll give him clothes when I'll give him a shirt. He's got a tank top, right? So we'll do that. And so um, throw a little bit of color in there just to kind of start fleshing them out. Oh no, what is that? What is this? What color is this? That's not right. What is going on? This is not my day. Huh, that does not look like this color. I am beside myself, to be honest. I guess we're not coloring it. Um, um, let's try it one more time. I don't know if it was just that brush. Yeah, I don't know. Uh, it's just not my day. Okay, so something's wrong, but in the meantime, gonna try to color a little bit of this. I want to fix mainly the eyes, show it better what I'm really thinking about. So for this design, yeah, that'd be cool to kind of. All my monsters have been like mostly bulky and kind of really scary looking so far. I would say they're scary looking, but I don't know what other people think. You know what I mean? But I think in this one they're gonna be more weaselly and kind of just wonky. And it's like you ever watch Dragon Ball Z and then like out of the two, let's be honest, like Goku looks more menacing than Frieza. You know what I mean? And I feel like I'm gonna steal it. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna I'm gonna use that kind of aesthetic from Dragon Ball Z for this one. Is like I want my soldiers to be more menacing. And to be honest, I would rather have it that way anyways. I remember um, I was talking to a police officer back when I used to do security, and I was kind of like playing devil's advocate of like, why do you guys do this, you know? But I was asking the guy because I think it was my brother was like talking trash about the way police operate. And my brother was trying to be like, yeah, they don't need like 30 guys to take down one dude or whatever, you know? And I mean, when you really think about it, it makes more sense. Like, you don't have to really ask the question, but I asked anyways, you know? And the officer was like, why wouldn't you? Like, you want that menacing kind of like no hope uh, feeling. Like, you don't want to make it a level playing field. You know what I mean? Why would you do that? That's stupid. You want people to see what you're bringing and to be like, you know what? uh, I made the wrong choice. You know, let's step back and do the right thing. And that's how like I would honestly rather have these soldiers is like, yeah, these demons are like malformed people and they might here and there be scary looking because of the way they grew, you know. But for the most part, when I really think about it, I want my characters to be scarier, you know. When you look at them, like I don't want to mess with that soldier. Look at him; he's insane looking. Like, why would you? You would rather want to fight the monster than one of my soldiers, and that's supposed to be the point. So that's where we're going with this one. Even though it's a comic book and you want the monsters to be like really, really scary. One of the things I've been doing lately, and I'm gonna try to achieve it here, is taking out black from around the eye. So these black marks here, I want to get rid of that as I go. Sorry, my dog's trying to escape. So uh, and I like cross-eyed too, so we'll figure that out when we get to it. Cross that road. I feel like I have to take my dog out because he's scratching at the door now, but I don't want to. Sounds bad, like I don't take my dog out, but no, he's been out a couple times, and I even took him to the park a couple like an hour ago, right before I started this thing. We're actually Took him out and got him his favorite treat from the store. He likes driving with me in my car or my truck. And now it's not good enough. He wants out again, which I might do because it's not going the way I want. So we might cut it here and we'll draw this demon in another video, like full length. Make it look really cool and talk more about monster designs. Yeah, I want it to be like almost sickly looking. There we go. And then, like I want his eye to be like he's not even using it. You know what I mean? Like he's looking at you some other ungodly way. Then that's what I like the most about. And then this eye will be like looking straight at you, like no, it is looking at you. You know? But I still want that like kind of puppy eye look. I'm a study. Um, when we do the demon thing, I actually draw this monster rendered. That's what we're gonna do next video. That's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna pull up some reference of kind of like the idea I have and the what I want from this design, and we're gonna achieve it on here. And it might be some commentary, it might be a speed run. I can't color, so I'm just gonna. And we might pull up some reference and really make this look realistic too. So we'll make it look like somebody, like how I was saying, like an actor. This might actually be somebody by the time we're done with it. So we'll give him like want his nose to be like really like his thing. My dog is begging me to go outside right now, so that's why I'm trying to. You get the point, right? Um, let's just call it here because my dog is he's being a menace to society right now. So as always, thank you for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again.